So we are meeting for the first time.
Yes.
Yeah. And we've been talking for nearly almost a year.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And I've seen your work. We've been talking over the phone.
Yes.
We've also been conversing on the social media and trying to understand what you do. Yeah.
Yes.
It's fantastic what you do. Fantastic. Which is what has brought me from Uttarakhand to Lucknow to meet you. Now, I'd like to know from you, what do you do? So that, in minimum words, so that your conversation can be sent out to as many people as we can. So please do explain what you do, what brings you to a place like Lucknow, and what motivates you to do this work.
Okay. I'll start from how I got into this work. And I got into this work when I was in school.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in class 6, I was given a choice between learning Braille or learning German language.
I see.
So I knew that German language, anywhere you can go, any spoken language you could learn. But Braille was something very new for me. So that's where I started. I chose Braille. And my journey started from there. I became the fastest Braille translator. I translated many books. I used to go to the blind school and I used to teach the children there, do voice recording. I continued this even when I was in college. So in college also, I went to the president's house, the servant quarters. There was this lady who had 3 children and all 3 were blind, and the husband had left them and gone away. So I used to go there until 7 o'clock in the evening. I used to be with them. They come back home by 7:30, and then all the children who were there in our the nearby slums, the drivers' children and everything, they used to come, and I used to give them tuition for an hour without taking any money. Money was never over here. It was only just doing what I passionately love to do. And when I did my graduation, after my graduation, I did my post-graduation in special education for spastic children. There again, I was given a choice, the city of Faridabad or the villages of Rajasthan. So I did my research for the villages of Rajasthan. I'm more of a village person, a slum person. I'm not a city person at all. So from there, when I came back, and then I worked with all disabilities, and I was then contacted to help getting the girl child from the red light area in Delhi. So that was a huge challenge, and me as hardly maybe 24 or 25 years of age, I had to go to the red light area in the evening, where I had a meeting with all the mothers, and then we planned how to get the children. And when we successfully got all the girl child from there, then I gave them formal education, put them into boarding schools without letting the parents know where the child is being. So this, I mean, the kind of blessings I got all the way, I knew that this was my calling. This was what I wanted to do in life. So when I was working in the slum, then I came across 2 deaf children and I couldn't communicate. That's the time I said, Geetanjali, it's time you left a job and start learning this language. So in fact, Dharmir sir was my teacher. He taught me. This was 21 years ago. And whatever my vision is today, whatever the vision I have for our school today, it's the reason is Dharmir sir, because he pushed me into the deaf community. I went deep down. I went to the deaf associations, to the deaf clubs, and I went to many deaf schools all over India to see how the teaching was happening, because in my first year of learning sign language, I realized that there is no education for the deaf in our country. That is the honest truth. Children who were passing 12th standard still couldn't even write a paragraph about themselves. So it was pathetic. And trying to see, and looking at all the deaf, like they couldn't even write a single sentence. It saddened me. And then when we both got an opportunity to teach at the International Deaf College at IGNU, there was the first time where I had the experience of meeting the deaf from foreign countries. And there reading and writing skills were at par with the hearing, and that surprised me because my students were in my room till around 2 o'clock in the night, trying to finish their homework, trying to understand what is being taught. But that was the time when I felt that I was not doing justice to the salary that I was getting. I was getting the money, but I was not giving anything. It made no sense to me. So I told Dharmesh sir that I think if we want to bring a change in deaf education in our country, then we have to start from the grassroots level. That is a school. I cannot make changes over here. It will be a very, like you have a lot of institutes, you have a lot of NGOs who will teach these children, like computers and art and all this thing. That is fine. But what about life? What about teaching them what life is all about? Actually, we have not been also taught as hearing people. We have not been taught in schools also about life. It's only the books. You just read them, give your examinations and all. But no, over here, it's 50% academics and 50% life education.
Yeah, these are very essential aspects, Geetanjali. And in fact, since we're meeting for the first time, I'm really, very, very stunned to see that, you're speaking the language which fascinates me. And you're talking about your own subject, how you are trying to engage people just in a manner that appeals to me also very strongly in a country like ours. When you talk about the rurality, your source of encouragement and your motivation to include people who are from the rural India, which is where the real challenge is and which is where the majority of the population is.
Yes, correct. I completely agree.
And at the same time, the major deprivation of resources too. Now, when you talk about the centers and institutions, now this is basically you're opening a Pandora's box where, in this country, I don't see the scope for, institutions through the lens of centralization of activities or resources. So I've met some of the major philanthropic institutions and all the top, professionals in this space. But sadly, most of them I see go by the matrix of the institutions. So there's something very, very valid that you're pointing out. How do you see? Because I see a very clear difference between an institution and institutionalization. The institution, I'm definitely in favor of, but institutionalization would imply caging people or caging a bird. That's institutionalization. How do you see, where is the barrier or what is the variance between an institution and institutionalization? How do you look at that? How do you look at, how do you foresee people's lives that you're trying to engage in your center? How do you look at that?
I will not go so much into the differences between institution and institutionalization, for the reason being I'm away from all these things, because I only know what I have to do and what I have to give to these children, and no matter how difficulties I have been through, I just follow what I want to give them. And the fact remains that even when you go to any institution as a fact, and even if you ask for donations or anything, they have their own rules, they have their own aims that you have to fulfill. You have to fulfill it for them, because what they want. And I'm not here to fulfill what other people want. I'm here to fulfill what my children want, what is required most. See, it's been so long, it's been like 7 years we've been working without salary. Why? For the reason being, anybody that has come, whether it be the government, whether it is like donors, even like big donors, I don't want to even take their name, everybody wanted that they have control over us.
Absolutely.
I am not for that at all. You keep your money. You keep your control to yourself. You don't know anything about the deaf. You don't know anything about the deaf community. You do not know anything about deaf culture or about the deaf world. You know nothing, zilch.
Or about even otherwise, what is the exposure to such procedures towards the cultural, historical significance of this country? So whatever work we do has to align with the cultural landscape.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're making a very valid point.
Yes, and why? I mean, like for all these years, I'm being very honest. There have been many big people who have also come, and I mean, even churches they have come. I mean, they have come over here and they said they told me like, you know, we build you a big school and we'll give you the salaries and everything, but this is our baby. How can this be your baby when I have produced it? It's my baby. It's my baby. And that is exactly what I told them. I said, how can you say it's your baby? It's my baby. I have struggled hard. I have thought hard. I have, before opening the school, for it would take 8 years. I traveled all over India. I've been to various different deaf schools to see. So how does it become yours? There are many other people who came and said, you make us a board member, then only. I said, no, I don't want you to enter. If at all we have board members, it will be my deaf. This school is the first school to be led by a deaf principal.
Excellent.
This school is the first school that has 50% deaf board members. Mm-hmm. My children in the future, they are going to be teachers in this very school. Like just 3 weeks ago, there was one lady, she called me up and she told me, I have been working in a deaf school and I want to come and teach over here. So I asked her, do you know sign language? So she says, yes, my daughter is also deaf and I can do signing a little bit. So I said, okay, what class do you want to teach? So she says, UKG and LKG. I said, my senior students can teach them. I don't need you. The best person to teach the deaf is the deaf. In this school also, our aim, our vision is to include the deaf. I don't want the hearing unless you are deaf on the heart.
I see.
Where you understand.
A very strong statement.
Yes, yeah. Where you understand the deaf. Where you are willing to, to accept the challenges in their life. You have to accept the challenges. You have to know them deep down. It's not that, deaf. I mean, I have people, deaf, I feel very bad, I feel very sorry. I'm like, yes, I understand. But truly, do you actually feel? Because if you feel, you would be here. Every other day or at least once a week, you would be here to understand them, to communicate with them.
Yeah.
But we're just saying is not enough.
I mean, this is really something which is, you're covering a lot of aspects in your conversation. Quite nice. What is the nature of background of children? When you say children, what is their age group? What is the gender dynamics? What is the culture that they come from? What is their economic backgrounds? What are the challenges of these children? Because that makes the work that we do extremely essential.
Yes. Okay. I have all my children. They come from.
And how many children are here as of now, and how many would you're trying to accommodate?
As of now, we have 15. 16, and the maximum that we can accommodate in this place is 30 to 35. Mm-hmm. That is the maximum, and I am going slow because I need the resources, and also I need teachers, good teachers, to teach them. Not anybody can come like that. So that's why I'm taking it slow, and I am not in competition with any of the other dev schools or anything. I'm just here to compete with my own self to give the best to them. That is all. And my children, all of my children, their backgrounds, they come from poor families, and they come from villages and who cannot even afford 2 meals a day. So leave alone education. This child of mine, Vishal, is Vishal, and he came to us. This child of mine, he came to us 3 years ago. The only thing that he used to eat in his house was rice with a little bit of oil and salt. That is all. The first time when he came over here, he had never seen curd. I gave him one bowl of curd. He liked it so much that he had 4 bowls of curd. And since then, my share goes to him. It breaks me from inside to see what we have been privileged with and taken for granted. These children are actually hungry for those things. And this child of mine also is an abused child. So we have all these children that have come. They come from such backgrounds where there is no security, either for the food, either for the education, or of their own lives. My other child also, there is Simi. She came to us at the age of 6. Her grandfather bought her. She's from Madhya Pradesh, from Rewa Gaon. And her mother, when she was married, when she was born, first it was a girl, second a deaf child. So the father left them and went away. Now the mother didn't want to accept her child, her deaf child. And along with another 2 men, she threw this child 3 times in the river so that this child dies.
That's very sad.
Yes, it is. It is shocking. And the 3rd time, Simi, when she was thrown into the river, the current was so fast, so hard, that she had to catch on to the pillar, and she stood there for nearly 2 to 3 hours till it was safe enough for her to swim back to the banks. And from there, she went to her grandfather's house and said that this is what is happening with me. And someone in Chitrakoot, I do not know, how he works, but someone in Chitrakoot told them about us, because we have not advertised about our school as yet. It is only through word of mouth. The day I advertise, the day I open my website, there will be a huge line. I know that. And I'm not prepared for that.
Absolutely. That sense of readiness comes from with a lot of responsibility.
Exactly.
Because you're not rushing into human engagement.
Yes.
That's a very responsible decision to make.
Absolutely.
And very informed one.
Yes.
So, now you also talked about the grassroots aspect, and I have also quite observed that, the change that we are trying to pursue, basically, because we work in an extremely decentralized manner, and most of the rural areas of Uttarakhand, some parts in UP. So we understand what you're saying, but when you say grassroots, we look at it from a slightly different lens, in the sense that the grassroots political dynamics have to change. So we also have to actively participate in the grassroots politics, which brings in the change in people's behavior. And that is also our constitutional responsibility to adhere to that.
Yes.
Now, you said you have about 15 children here. What is their age group? And
the age group is, they start from 6 years to 23.
23.
Yeah.
And so how, I've seen that, and please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I've experienced that all the people I have known personally were people with disabilities, and I've worked with them, children from like 2.5 years old to 70-year-old adult woman. I've seen that the disability in their identity plays a relatively smaller role, but it comes with a wide number of challenges which isolates them in many different ways. So disability is an area which may affect a person individually, but there are so many other challenges, like you just mentioned about the 2 children.
Yes.
Like you said, but with us, of all the people that we work with, nearly everybody has been having difficulties which are more challenging than the disability alone. So their life struggles are basically dominating their everyday life more than the disability itself. How do you look at this, or do you think my observation is...
No, you're right. Because, what I will explain, I can only explain for what I see with my deaf children. Right? And my deaf children, all of them in their own homes, each one of them in their own homes, are not accepted. Okay? That is because they being deaf. That is because they are not being able to communicate. Right? Now when it comes to the life, this is where this school is trying at least to play a different role. This school of ours is for children not only from KG to class 12. Most of the children, most of the schools, what they do is that they give you a certificate of class 12 and they say bye. Now what happens to that child when that child goes into the society? Where is the jobs? Where is the acceptance? So over there the child feels that even my family doesn't accept me, the society makes fun of me, they abuse me, they mock me. So my confidence level goes down. I feel that I'm useless. I cannot do anything. So over here, what I have seen and what my experiences has taught me, we all have decided that this place is not only a school. In the coming years, in our future, what we see about them is after giving them education, like I told you, that we are 50% academics and 50% life education. Now, what does life education over here includes for them to know? We do wildlife conservation and crime studies on that. No deaf school is doing that. We do on astronomy, and we are the only deaf school in the world to be associated with NASA and their projects. No other deaf school is doing that. We are into art and craft in a very different manner, where these children will be able to sell their craft, where we are also planning a way out for that. We have photography. And now with computers, with the various courses that comes with computers, that will be starting. Now what I am trying to say is that when it comes to wildlife conservation and crime, when it comes to any such things where the children are interested to learn, to know, no other school is providing that. Today, you ask my children, deep down in the ocean, at the bottom of the ocean, there are still, insects, there are still small fishes, they're alive, but the sunlight doesn't go there. There is no life. How do they survive? They will tell you. There was this lecturer from Pune. She taught our children about swiftlets, which is a bird which is found inside the caves, which is also their nest. They make it with their spit, and it takes them a lot of time to make that nest. But that is a delicacy. Now, how that is to be protected, how is that to be saved, all that were taught to them. And when there was an exam that took place, what the questions that were asked, the teachers, the lecturers were so surprised because their own MA students couldn't answer the way these deaf could. Because why? The way of teaching them is through pictorial forms. And that is why very fast they were able to grasp things. So what is happening over here is that they have the confidence now that we can do anything. My kids over here, my children over here, they go to buy vegetables, they go to the shop, they communicate everything. They do that. I'm not over here that you have to be inside here. No, get out into the society.
That's fantastic, Geetanjali, because you see, you're not working on something which is a dummy prototype.
Yeah.
You're dealing with the life every day.
Exactly.
You're engaging with the world outside every day.
Yes.
And you're encouraging these children to move out and see the world.
Yes, and plus also there is one more thing that I want to add over here is in the next 5 years, that is the time frame that I have given myself, more I take the responsibility of this, is the 50% life education that we're teaching them. And we are having even Dr. Ashfaq from Integral University who's going to teach them on organic farming. We've done that already before.
Super.
With Amity. Now in the next 5 years, we will get a huge land. I'm working on it, and I know God Almighty is there. He will provide it because it is not for me. It is for my children. And over here, we will be setting up all these projects, the life education projects, and that will be handled by them. Yeah. It is going to be, till now, I have seen that it is the deaf who keep running behind the hearing, behind the hearing. Please help us. Please join us. Please talk to us. Please give us a job. No, this is going to change. The hearing are going to come to our deaf school when our projects are set up to do business with our deaf.
Absolutely.
That is the change.
Yeah, and that is also, Geetanjali, the natural way of doing business also.
Yes.
Because that business doesn't recognize
Yes.
anything except for trade and business.
Yes.
So I don't see. I mean, that's so many other things that I find so much in common the way you think. Because when you talk about livelihood, I mean, as a jargon, we can simply see that, when we engage with people in developmental programs, we talks about income and livelihood, and then we talk about, and then we mix human vulnerability to the degree that it compromises the whole objective.
Yes.
That is something I certainly agree with you. It's not required.
Yeah.
And in businesses, I don't see that any of these challenges, if we are more awakened, if we understand the business, if we understand the nomenclature, if we understand the trade, I'm sure anybody of us would be able to make some kind of significant impact and also do the change. Now, when you have children of all age groups here, how do you manage to teach them?
See, even though they come from different age groups, but the level of their education, their background, is approximately the same. Like if you see Vishal, and there is another girl, Swastika, and there's another boy, Yash, there is another boy, Anmol, and there's another boy, Mayank and Arnab. If
All
you go to
different age groups?
All different age groups. They are from like 6 years to 12 years.
I see.
Right. But because they have not gone to school earlier and they have come to us at a late age, all the levels are the same where they start from LKG. Because if you don't know the alphabets, if you don't know how to sign, you cannot learn. This is what also I had a conversation with Azam Premji, where they had asked me that, oh, this child is now 18 years old, I mean 24 years old, 23 years old, and he should have finished his 12th. Yes, according to the hearing, like when you're 17, 18, you pass out of school. Yes, when you are 22, 23, you pass out of college. Yes. But then your education started at a very young age. At what age? At the age of 1.5. Because when a hearing child is born, he is exposed to so many vocabulary words that his parents, that his relatives, that his neighbors, that his friends, they keep talking. So when a child is 5 years of age and goes to school, his vocabulary is around 50,000 to 60,000. That's his vocabulary that he has. But if you compare it with a deaf child who is born, he's like this. For 5 years, 6 years, he's just like this. He doesn't know how to communicate. He doesn't know sign language. No words. His vocabulary may be around 20 to 50. That's it. So when that child comes to school, you can't. If he comes at the right age, at the age of 5, at the age of 4, then good. Then he will progress.
So the answer that you are responding to my question is that you teach children of different age groups.
Yeah.
At a common level?
Yes.
Because they come from nearly similar academic levels.
Yes, correct.
What is the depth of, poverty that their families might have experienced? And a general, it doesn't have to be a person-centric.
Yeah.
A very general, just one-line statement.
The kind of work that their fathers basically are engaged in is... I don't know what to say, but it's very hard for them to even
earn a meal.
So and the first thing that everybody that comes over here, the first thing they say is that हम 1 रुपया भी नहीं दे पाएंगे. Now because you cannot pay me, I'm not going to shut my gates. I'm not going to shut my doors, because I'm not here for that money. I'm here there for this child. I want to see this child grow. I want to see this child is educated.
So which is, I'm interrupting you here. When we spoke about the institution and the institutionalization, and you responded very responsibly that you would not want to engage in this conversation because your objective is very clear. That you want to take care of certain kind of people. Now this is a point where I'm trying to more elaborate on my question. When you say that you would not shut the doors on the people who are poor. This is exactly where I differentiate between an institution and an institutionalization. This juncture is where our work begins.
Yes.
Because refusing somebody. So the point is, when we close the door on others, we forget that we are also closing the door on ourselves.
Yeah.
So which is where I feel this kind of, monetary associated inclusion is something which I find in a broader space of work
Yes.
in our country is
Yes.
irrelevant. To some degree, it is
Yeah.
irrelevant.
Yes.
So that was the point that I was trying to make. Now, let's say you are trying to have 30 people ahead in your center, in
Yeah.
your school that you're trying to build, and which is under construction.
Yeah.
You've been working in the school for nearly a decade, 8-10 years,
Yeah.
about this time. What kind of progress do you foresee for people who will grow up as adults, is the question.
Okay. See, I have always told my children that there is always be two ways in front of you. Once you get the education from here, you will go out. You have the choice to go out into the world, because we also plan to start a college as well. Because there is no college per se only for the deaf. A college for the deaf, taught by the deaf, we don't. So we plan to have that. And if we are successful in having it at the right time, when our children finish the 12th, they get into college over here. Because going into any university or college, you need an interpreter. And there are no interpreters. So there is a lack of interpreters. So what we have told our children is this, that your education over here after the 12th, either you go in for higher education, and you go for higher education, then you look out for a job in society, go for it, do it. But if you are not successful, you have a second way, that is coming back here. Because you have, this place is being built not as only a school, but it is a backbone for them, a support for them. Because see, the parents, no matter how much they become educated, they stand on their 2 feet, but once they start earning, they will only look at the money. They will not look at the achievement that the child has got. So we have two ways for them. Either you go out into the world, and we will support you for that, to get your education over there, get a job, stand on your 2 feet, become independent. And if you're not, then you have this place. This place, we are very, very clear. That is why I'm not going very fast in taking so many people, so many students. But I'm very clear. I'm not started this school just to see them study, get a certificate, and get lost in society. I want them to earn and stand on their 2 feet. Mm-hmm. And this school, the 2 of my children are going to become board members as well. They are going to lead the school.
So which is what you're saying, they're also going to be adults.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And
yes,
that's a great responsibility.
It is. Mm-hmm. And this responsibility are being taught to them from a very young age itself. Because I have told them that even this house that we have purchased, it's not mine, it's not his, it is theirs.
What is the nature of entity that you've registered as this entity as?
In the trust name.
It's in the trust.
It's in the trust name. And they are also, in the coming years, they are going to become board members as well of this trust.
And you would have all kind of compliances in place, all kind of certifications that are required to fulfill any financial or statutory compliances.
Yes, everything.
When did you register this?
This we registered in 21.
21.
Yeah, on 3rd August 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you were just telling me that your father was from Kerala.
Yes, and my mother, my father was from Kerala, and my mother was from Bengal.
From Bengal. So what brings you to Lucknow? And what was that journey?
Actually, I did half my education from Bengal, and my father was transferred to Delhi. And that's where I did half my education from Frank Anthony, from St. Thomas's, and then from St. Mary, Jesus Mary College. And so in Delhi, I did my latter part of my education. When I learned about the deaf, and when I was doing my course in Indian Sign Language, that's when we decided that we have to open a deaf school of our own. And so we did a research, and we came to know that Maharashtra and UP, the maximum number of deaf are found in these 2 states. So Maharashtra is the language problem. that I don't know Marathi, so it's very important. And Dharmesh sir is from Lucknow.
I see.
So it became much more easier
Yeah.
for us. And the deaf community here in Lucknow, they are my friends as well. So I used to keep coming to Lucknow from Delhi up and down many times. But it took us 8 years to plan everything and come over here. And that journey has also been not very easy for us,
Absolutely.
because when we decided to come to Lucknow, we did have, and we set up our school in Mahanagar, we did have enough little bit of money, but then we also had one business person from Delhi who decided to support us because he liked the project so much. He loved it, in fact, but he was not agreeable to have girls and boys together.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where the fallout came, because they felt that there would be rape cases. And I said, I'm sorry, but I cannot bring my level of thinking so low to yours. It's you have brothers and sisters at home as well. I mean, like, so I see no difference. And it's what you are teaching them, the values that you're teaching them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is important.
Absolutely.
So, so...
And this is human behavior, which beyond a point we really don't have any control over.
Yes, absolutely.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I also want to point out some observation regarding our work and a lot of people that we work with, and you might be quite surprised to know that almost everybody whom we came across as a person with disability, whom we work with and whom we've known, must be at least 500,000 people, had all their documentation messed up. Hardly anybody had their active disability certificate in place, documentation in place. There's also, like I said, I use a word, the privileged insiders, like I've said, wherein a lot of families have their documentation in place. But somewhere I see there is stress on, the extraordinary documentation.
Yeah.
The price of this extraordinary effort is paid by the poor.
Yes.
Because they don't have the documentation in place.
Yes.
So what is your observation on that, and how many children especially in your school, have the documentation in place, the disability certificate in place?
Yes.
And what has been the challenges in this context?
Okay. I feel very proud to say that all my children have their documentations in place, and we have worked with the parents wherever they have had the difficulty of getting it done, what the way out is, where to go. We've always helped them out in that. Yes, they have, like Simi's mother in Madhya Pradesh, she was doing it over there. So we had a call with them and explained to them. So now she says that like you get some money also once you have this documents in place. The government gives you some money also because your child is deaf. So now they're receiving that, like 2,000 rupees I think per month or something like that. They're receiving that. The parents are receiving that. So all my children have got theirs. And even the UDI card, I mean the
UDID card.
UDIP card, yeah. That also they have. And the biggest challenge that we faced, first of all, is with our own principal, Dharmesh sir.
Mm-hmm.
In Lucknow. He applied it in 2018. Until 2025, he didn't get it. We kept going to the department, talking to them, telling them, but they said that कि आप अपना वो email से just take out a printout. We don't want a printout, we want the card. And what we found out later on was from the insiders that their cards were given by the government, but it was thrown inside the drain.
It's basically a clerical,
yes,
mischief.
Yes.
We would like to close that.
But that is still there. That is still happening.
Mm-hmm.
And what also once before you I think you asked me about the governments or whatever. I mean, like we have to, the political things that we have to change. I have also tried that, but then I have to be very honest. I felt that the time that I'm giving over there, it's better if I give that time to my children and make them more aware, make them more strong, than to be fighting over there.
Yeah. So I was referring to basically participation in active grassroots change, which comes with the constitutional entitlements.
Yes.
So the entitlements that we are talking about is not. See, there's a myth,
Yeah.
and the myth. Why I stressed on the word, that is an over enthusiasm by the urban elite about having the disability certificates and everything. Not that it is required by them; it is basically a requirement of the poor.
Is yes.
My point of bringing this up is because we have to be very careful in the context in which a vocabulary is being used. So when we talk about the grassroots change, when we talk about the theory of change, we have to be clear, we are not talking about the theory of economics.
Yes.
When we talk about economics, then we have to talk about markets and integrate people in a manner in which markets, absorb people as manpower, not people who are disguised. That is the difference we're trying to establish. So that's more or less I wanted to speak with you. Is there anything you would like to talk about how you plan this, and what is the future, and what is the nature of support that you might be looking at? What has been the overall experience? Anything you'd like to point out as a message?
I only know one thing is when we decided to start this. In my life, I never look back. Once I've started a journey, it's going forward. It is never looking back. I don't know how to give up. I only know I have a vision in front of me that I have to accomplish, and not for myself. It is for my children. Because see, I lost, for the simple reason, I lost my parents when I was in class 12 and just going into college. I lost both my parents. And life was not easy for me because my sister was married, and my elder brother was also married. And they had their lives, and the kind of work that I was into, I mean, people would want that I should be in a MNC and all that thing, which I tried also. I was in Times of India, I worked there elsewhere. But that didn't gel with me because it was like, just getting money and not doing anything in return. So I know that the challenges that I've gone through life, I've lived in servant quarters, worked, educated myself, and I don't want my children to go through that. I don't want my children to go through that at all. So whenever I look at them, I know I can speak, I can hear, I can do anything. Even the challenges that I faced, I knew how to brave through those challenges, to break through it, and to be successful for myself. But I want the same thing for my children. I don't want my children to go through those challenges. Yes, there will be challenges for them in their work, which they have to do it. But I want to be their support. The school has to be a support for them.
We'll put it frankly in fewer words. If I say that the struggle is a part of our life, I mean,
yes.
I think we have to build ourselves that we also, are able to accept life as an endurance, and the human struggle as endurance, not as something which is, not miserable.
Yes,
so that, and absolutely. I think this is something which applies to all mankind.
Yes.
We all go through our own set of challenges.
Yes.
The question I would like to now ask is, do you think an adult should go to work, meaningful work, or should an adult not go to work and do something which is voluntarily vocational? Because a lot of education programs focus on the vocational, but for me, when we say vocational, vocational directly implies meaningful work and waged work. How do you see the two difference? Do you think, will it not be more meaningful to have a life which has a form of an employment as people grow up?
Yes.
What is your view on this?
This is what our school is also all about. I mean, like I said, that I have given myself 5 years time, and the projects that we will be building up in our own campus is this. To be, I mean, like we will going to have a cafe, because Ayush over here, he is very much interested in becoming a chef, That's his forte. So we're going to start sending him also to a place where he's going to start learning that. In the evening times, he will be attending school in the morning, and then the afternoon and evening time, he will be learning about this. So it is like we have already planned we have all the blueprint ready, everything. My children have made it, in fact, our dream book of our ultimate school. So we're going to have a cafe over there where he will run it, and all the deaf will have it. Like you have Ishara now in the mall. I've forgotten the name of the mall, but you have Ishara, a restaurant completely run by the deaf. So that is one thing. The second is that our children are so good at astronomy now. We have our own telescope, so we are going to have at the building, the topmost level will have a sliding roof where that complete place will be filled with different kinds of telescopes, and which these children of ours will operate it. We will be, when you have the alignments, we will call people. I mean, whether it is a hearing, whether it's deaf, you are most welcome. Pay a nominal fee, so 100 rupees, and then you see the thing and they will explain. So this is something. And then we also have, because organic farming is something that we started from the very beginning. So organic farming of fruits, vegetables, flowers, plants. We will have shops for that, where they will be taken care of. They will be growing it, and it is not just beach daldia and bolia. No, it is going to be, they're going to be taught as a subject, where from sowing a seed to taking care of it till it fruits, to its packaging, to its selling, it's all theirs. So and then you have a craft. We have amazing craft that we do, and for that also we will have a shop. So that way, and also for mobile repairing, computer repairing, we'll be having that. So we're going to have a large variety of things.
So I'm trying to say
it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's certainly going to happen.
Yeah.
I feel that your understanding of employment is also very much rooted on the ground.
Yes.
Because you rarely talk about the blue collar job.
Oh no.
Which is afar.
Yeah.
And it's something, not everybody would want to aspire.
Yeah.
So it's something that the nature of engagement,
yes,
which you're talking about,
yes,
has certain degree of assurance,
and
which brings in some form of an income,
yes,
which involves hard work, physical work, which is very fantastic.
Yes.
That's a great idea, and I think you are very, very well acquainted with the methods in which this kind of work can be accomplished.
Yes, because I tell you one thing, I have been very lucky in the sense that I have worked in a certain deaf school. Okay, I will not want to name it, but this deaf organization, NGO, I worked over there. And what I saw over there is that they taught on computers your graphic designing and everything, and then all these children were employed in hotels, they were employed in some factories and everything. And I told the person who was running the NGO that every month, because our students were facing problems. So I told her that once a month, let me just go to each place, and I will have our student and I'll have the management, and then discuss what the problem is and solve it. Right? So she sent me to one place where I found that the management was wrong. But that person happened to be her friend. So when I came back, I was scolded at. And I said, I'm sorry. Just because he's your friend, I'm not going to say yes to him. I'm going to say yes to what is correct and no to what is wrong.
Yeah.
That is it. That is very clear. And from there is where I learnt. It is from there that I learnt that no matter how big your NGO is, if you are not there from your heart and soul for the deaf, you are there to mint money.
You see, I see in this particular statement, I would say that any form of legal entity has no significance in its value unless it is basically bringing people together on a larger platform for a bigger goal. So that is the only reason why an entity is established, to ensure that the way in which the operations are taking place
Yes.
are in a proper manner. That is the
Yes.
only role of having an entity. Otherwise, people can,
Yes.
in our country,
Yeah.
we've always had the liberty and the freedom to not have an NGO.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
culturally,
Yes.
the movements, the public rights movements have been so strong, which never demanded the formation of entity.
Yes.
Entity.
Yeah.
Leave aside everything else.
Yes.
The freedom struggle.
Correct.
So
Correct.
nothing
Correct.
requires the formation of an entity, basically.
Correct.
Yeah. One thing that I would like to close this conversation with you, which has been fantastic, is that I was reading a book,
Thank you.
and in which it was said, it talks about boy grown up into an adult, but basically fantasizes with the wonders of being in the childhood, memories,
Yeah.
and smaller things, basically, small joys of life,
Yes.
which is what I see in your conversations, and that
Yes.
is something that I value so much,
Yes.
and it also talks about, the young man meets so many people, adults, and then in one statement, the beginning of the book, it says, the book was given by a friend of mine, and the person says, I met so many adults. My opinion about them hasn't improved. So we meet so many adults, and I think we make a very conscious choice as to
Yes.
whom we make
Yes.
great acquaintance with, whom we choose as our friends, whom we choose as our colleagues, as our partners. So it's fantastic to meet a dynamic
so much.
and enterprising and a vibrant person like you, Geetanjali.
Thank you so much.
And we wish
Thank
that
you.
your work grows like anything.
Yes, it will.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.